Policy for EEN Action, the advocacy partner for the Evangelical Environmental Network. I stand before you today joined by Clean Air Moms Action and the Pennsylvania Senator Carolyn Committa. And while we may not agree on everything, what we do agree on is the importance of defending our children's health and investing in our great communications of the 21st century. PA risks falling behind as an energy leader. Not only that, but we are risking the health of our children, communities, and workers by doubling down on energy approaches from centuries past. While fossil fuel energy has certainly brought benefits to Pennsylvania, it also comes at a cost and adverse health impacts, especially to children like my own. Pollutants from fossil fuels like PM2.5, also known as soot, are in the air we breathe every day. Soot alone has been found to be correlated with neurological impacts such as ADHD and autism, as well as dementia, cardiopulmonary diseases, and a shorter lifespan. To make matters worse, soot is one of many compounds that are damaging our health through the air. We cannot live without being able to breathe the air we are gifted by God to breathe. It pains me to know that so many across the Commonwealth struggle with this. Pennsylvania is home to the #1 asthma capital in the country, as well as 2 others in the top 20. The medical research is clear and has continually shown fossil fuel pollution as a top environmental threat to our health of our children and other vulnerable Pennsylvanians. It is for this reason I am proud to announce that EEN Action has gathered the comments from 41,830 pro-life Pennsylvanians who agree that we need a strong cap and invest program that will not only defend our children's health, but also create family-sustaining careers in Pennsylvania energy communities. A cap and invest program will bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in annual revenues to Pennsylvania that we can be used to directly invest in frontline communities, low wealth and middle class families overexposed and overburdened by pollution. As Pennsylvania is committed to defending life from all harms, we can no longer turn a blind eye to toxic pollution from fossil fuels that make our air unsafe to breathe and water unsafe to drink. Pennsylvania, not only ourselves, but our children and their health. Not only ourselves, but our children and their health. Now on the eve of the esteemed Pennsylvania Supreme Court hearing oral arguments that have hindered RGGI from being implemented here in Pennsylvania, we pray over the judges as they hear their cases and make this decision. Psalm chapter 96, verses 11 through 12. Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice. Let the sea roar and all that fills it. Let the field exult and everything in it. Then shall all the trees of the forest sing for joy.
I'm a Pennsylvania field organizer with Clean Air Moms Action. I'm here today alongside our fellow advocates to deliver thousands of signatures from Pennsylvanians who want to ensure that our Commonwealth benefits from a strong cap and invest program. I'm proud to represent our members, parents and caregivers who are advocating for a healthier future, one where our children can breathe clean air and inherit a planet that is safe and stable. This moment, as Carolyn said, is particularly significant as it comes just one day before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, a cap and invest program that has already delivered success in numerous states. Pennsylvania has a constitutionally protected right to clean air. However, our power sector is one of the dirtiest in the nation, contributing to dangerous pollution that harms public health, especially in communities already overburdened by environmental injustices. As a parent of a child with asthma, and as someone who lives with asthma myself, I know firsthand how deeply air pollution affects our daily lives. In my family, we are all too familiar with the anxiety that comes when the air quality is poor. Unfortunately, we are not alone in this struggle. Many families in Pennsylvania live with the daily challenge of asthma, and our children are especially vulnerable to the harmful effects of air pollution. The good news is we have a proven solution that can help improve air quality, protect children's health, and defend our climate, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, or RGGI. This cap and invest program has already shown success in other states, reducing carbon pollution from power plants and driving investments in cleaner renewable energy sources. By participating in RGGI, Pennsylvania can make real progress towards cleaner air, healthier communities, and a stronger family-sustaining economy. Our members believe that the proceeds of any Cap and Invest program should go where they're needed most, to clean up the air, protect public health, and support communities hit hardest by pollution. These funds can be used to support air monitoring, clean energy products, provide workforce development opportunities, and ensure that communities historically reliant on the fossil fuel economy are supported through a just transition. And of course, this is about more than just reducing pollution. It's about protecting the health of our children. We know that the pollution from our dirty power sector is one of the biggest contributors to exacerbated asthma, heart disease cases, and premature death in our communities. We believe that RGGI offers the best opportunity for Pennsylvania to reduce emissions, protect public health, and invest in a cleaner, more sustainable future. Whether it is RGGI or a similar program, we are calling on our leaders to prioritize the health and well-being of our children and communities, invest in cleaner energy, and take bold steps to protect the future of our planet with a strong and protective Cap and Invest program for Pennsylvania. Every child deserves to breathe clean air. And now, I am so proud to hand things over to someone who both I and our members deeply appreciate. Senator Carolyn Comita has long championed climate action as a responsibility to future generations, and we are so grateful for her leadership. Welcome, Senator.
Thanks so much, Brooke. I want to thank Clean Air Moms Action and our friends at EEN Action and all the environmental advocates who are joining us today. We are here because we care about our future. I ran for office because I care and I am concerned about our future. I'm here to work for a cleaner, safer, healthier, and more prosperous tomorrow for my children and my grandchildren and yours. As Minority Chair of the Senate Environmental Resources and Energy Committee and co-chair of the Legislative Climate Caucus, so much of my time in the Senate and before that in the House is spent fighting for climate action. The best thing we can do right now in Pennsylvania to address the climate crisis is to participate in the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, or a Cap and Invest program like it. I cannot tell you how many times I've stood on the Senate floor and discussed the environmental, public health, and economic benefits of a Cap and Invest program. Because the bottom line is that climate change is here. It's real, and it's not going away. Last year was the hottest on record. It was also the first year to be more than 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than in the pre-industrial era. And the past 10 years, 2015 to 2024, are the 10 warmest years on record. With climate change, we're seeing increased rainfall, flooding, severe weather, and impacts on our infrastructure, agriculture, and more. Meanwhile, the Commonwealth accounts for 1% of global emissions. That is more than many countries. As a major energy-producing state, we are uniquely positioned to lead on sustainable energy sources that can reduce costs for families, bring new jobs to our communities, and help secure our right to clean air and pure water. All that can be done through a Cap and Invest program like RGGI, but we have to give it a chance. More than 70% of voters support a cap and invest program like RGGI to reduce carbon dioxide pollution from power plants in Pennsylvania. And a long list of business leaders, major employers, and organizations agree. Unfortunately, the Senate majority remains fully committed to fossil fuels and fracking. At the same time, they want to blame RGGI for the decline of coal-fired power plants and other economic impacts. You can't have it both ways. You can't blame RGGI while obstructing Pennsylvania from participating in it. You can't say RGGI is the wrong way to implement a cap and invest program in Pennsylvania while failing to move other programs like the Pennsylvania Climate Emissions Reduction Act, PACER. The bottom line is cap and invest programs work. RGGI works. As it is in 10 states, RGGI leads to reduced emissions, cleaner air, family-sustaining jobs, economic growth, and more. Summer is almost here. For most of us, that means spending more time outside. Whether you're camping, hiking, boating, fishing, or just enjoying the fresh air, summer days are an important reminder of what's at stake in the fight against climate change. They're also a reminder of our constitutional duty to protect and preserve our environment and natural resources for our children and grandchildren. Under Article 1, Section 27 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, it states, "The people have a right to clean air, pure water, and to the preservation of the natural, scenic, historic, and aesthetic values of the environment. Pennsylvania's public natural resources are the common property of all the people, including generations yet to come." So let's uphold that right through a cap and invest program in Pennsylvania. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. And now it is my pleasure to introduce the Reverend Mitchell Hescox, President Emeritus of the Evangelical Environmental Network.
It is truly my honor to be the last one to end this little conference. But before I even begin, I want to thank Senator Comita for introducing her cap and invest bill today again, and for being the champion she has been for years and years to defending the life of our children and protecting our environment. She deserves every bit of applause we can give her. As the senator said, I'm Reverend Mitch Hescox. Mitch is fine for most people. I was the president of the Evangelical Environmental Network for 15 years. And for those 15 years plus the past 2, because nobody wants to let me retire, I have battled in this building for clean air and clean water and a new energy source. And as a person of strong faith, many of you might wonder why, in particular, evangelicals are involved in this fight. It's very simple, because Scripture tells us to. In the Old Testament, it says, "Defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and the oppressed, and rescue the weak and the needy, and deliver them from the hand of evil." Throughout Pennsylvania and across the world, it is the weakest, it is the most marginalized people that are most impacted by the damages caused by pollution and climate change. The Lancet, the premier medical journal of Britain, says that climate change is the greatest health threat to humanity for the 21st century. But I don't even want to talk about health threats beginning, because our other speakers have talked about that. But what I want to talk about is having Pennsylvania, it's time for a new energy future. Pennsylvania has always been an energy leader, but it's come with a cost. First, it was wood. It fueled our homes and our trees and our industry, and charcoal for the steel industry, but at the expense of deforesting Penn's forest. And if it wasn't for the federal government in 1930s, the Civilian Conservation Corps, would we have barely a tree left in Pennsylvania. If you don't believe me, go to Pennsylvania's Grand Canyon sometime and hear the stories how that streamflow still has not returned to its level it was in the 1910s. And then came the coal industry. Coal industry powered America through 2 great wars. But again, it came as a cost. And let me tell you, I know something about the coal industry. My dad was a coal miner. My grandfathers were coal miners. Both of my grandfathers had their deaths exacerbated by black lung. And my dad's favorite story, who was a World War II vet, no longer with us, is before high school in his junior and senior years, for 8 hours, he went to the family's little drift coal mine in Cambria County, Pennsylvania, and worked for 8 hours digging coal to put beans on the table, and then went to high school, and then tried to get a couple hours sleep, and then go to work again. That little mine was still, its remnants were still visible when I was a kid growing up in the 60s and 70s, which typifies the destruction of the coal industry in Pennsylvania. I grew up in the little Cambria County village of Blandburg, and a couple years ago I took a film crew up there to see the place that was my dad's and my whole family's favorite hunting grounds, a place called Jackson Ridge. Even then, 2 years ago, it was just starting to be reclaimed after at least 60 to 70 years of not being restored. That has gone on throughout Pennsylvania. And now we're moved to the methane, the natural gas industry, and still the same things are happening. We're dumping radioactive water on roads. We're releasing benzene and toluene and other habitants out of well sites that are poisoning our kids and causing cancer. It wouldn't be so bad if industry would just clean up their mess. You know, this year alone, the industry, gas industry, has abandoned, I believe the number is 48 wells in Pennsylvania, walked away from them. That's going to cost us at least $48 million. Because, no offense, Senator, but thanks to the General Assembly a couple years ago, we limited the bonding for conventional wells to $2,500 and fracked wells to $10,000. It costs at least $78,000 to remediate a well site, and a new paper that just came out last week says the number is closer to $120,000 minimum cost. We have a terrible legacy of empowering fossil fuels. But that day's over. It's time for a new future, a carbon-free future. We have renewables. We have the potential to have advanced nuclear. All of these things can do wonders for Pennsylvania. Excuse me. And what Cap and Invest can do is empower that. Have industry finally play the real cost of what it means for energy. It can have the resources to transform our communities, to empower workers to a new form of work, and to rebuild Pennsylvania. Is not the 44th worst polluted state in the nation, but to return our clean airs and blue waters and all of our rivers that are there. But we can't depend on Senator Comita alone. This needs to be a bipartisan action. Sorry for not speaking here well today. That's what I get for being retired. And I call on my fellow Republicans, which I am one. Ever since I was 17 years old and did handouts for the Republican Party in Blair County, have I been a registered Republican. And it's time for Republicans to come up with really things that are market-based, like Cap and Invest, to not give handouts to industry, but support real, fair economy, like Republicans are supposed to do. Let's build a new economic future. Let's build a new energy future. Let's restore Pennsylvania to what it should be, and let us certainly care for our kids and our grandkids. I have 8 kids, 8 grandchildren, and as of 2 months ago, my first great-grandchild. The reason I do this fight is for them and for all of God's children. Thank you, Senator Comita. Thank you, my fellow advocates. Thank you for the General Assembly. Let's go to work and create a new energy future for Pennsylvania. Are there any questions from anyone here? I don't know if anybody has it with it, but we can certainly supply that to you. I mean, I have it in my mind. I've read it 20 times, but I can't recite it from top of it. So we'll get that to you. If you could leave us your name with the senator staff or with one of the advocates, we will get that for you. Again, thank you, Senator Comita. Would you like to have a final word? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Mitch, Carolyn, Brooke, and everyone who is with us today. Again, let's remember that it is our constitutional duty to protect our clean air, our clean water, and our natural resources. It's not just a good idea, it's our constitutional duty. So I look forward to working together to make sure that we uphold that Article 1, Section 28 of the Pennsylvania Constitution for all of us, and especially for our children and grandchildren. Thank you.